2nd. We're here at the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land. I can't help saying it. I can't help feeling it. The power of the Holy Spirit comes through this warehouse every day. Today is no exception. I got some great people going to be around today. Not Gino Biscotti. Unfortunately, Gino has a story and an excuse. You know how the Democrats always have stories and excuses. I hope he doesn't feel like he's going to be jumping ship on us. We have some great people here today. First, I want to go all the way to the new person here. Hey, you might remember her. This guy come in the other day, and he says to me, "Hey, oh my God, that's the Islander girl." I said, "I remember that one. The Islander girl. Is that who it is?" He was so excited. And here she is in our warehouse. We're excited to have her. Jill Nicolini, welcome to the America First podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today. And it's been really awesome to be coming here the past few months, getting to work here, getting to meet your crew, your staff, the people. This place is just, it's beautiful. If you haven't been, you have to come. But it is, like you said, what is it? The most patriotic
venue in all the land.
Well, Kevin says galaxy.
I say galaxy.
Galaxy.
I say galaxy. I'm telling you, I've been around.
And that's Kevin Downey Jr., right in front of the mouth of our president. Can you go back to Kevin? How you doing, Kevin Downey Jr.?
Hey, how's it going?
Not only were you working all morning on your radio show, you're back here doing a podcast today. Welcome to the warehouse once again. Thanks for coming in without any excuses.
Thank you, sir. And I want to say, you see my little vest here?
Yes.
You want to know the last time I wore this?
Tell us.
When you built a dam?
Look what I found in the pocket.
The COVID years.
That's spare change.
So 20.
Fauci face diaper. Still smells like death. Still smells like death.
But you do realize
Your
we're
bad
like in a
breath.
heat wave right now. It's 90-something degrees, right?
Yeah, Joe was kind enough to turn up the AC so I could wear my vest.
God bless you. That's right. Exactly
To hide the
what I did.
cortisol that I get from drinking.
And of
not
course,
exercising.
right next to me, the handsomest guy on the planet. I got to tell you.
Well,
you know?
the second handsome.
Johnny Blanket. How you doing, Blanket?
Pretty good, brother. It's always an honor to be here and always a pleasure. I love our country. I love our patriots. I love everybody that comes here, and just can't tell you how happy I am to be around.
You know, Johnny boy, you are a loving man, and that's a very, you're always sometimes so hard on the outside, but I know how you are on the inside. You're a loving man. You care about people. You care about what's going on in your life, and that's going to be one of our subjects coming in on the segment 2, 3, and 4 as we go down the road. Do we have the great Lisa Azzarelli? I don't see her on. We lost her. We got her. We lost her. Hey, technology is only as good as it is, but I wanted to bring Lisa in because Lisa does the all of the headlines for us.
Yep.
So she brings it into perspective. But today's show, Jill, with you on the show today, I want to do a little twisting on what's important to America, what makes America great. I have this questionnaire thing we'll go through later in the show, and we're also going to have two incredible people coming on. Love on the Run, and that is a movie coming out by two great patriots from the January 6th era. You'll see there's so much truth coming on. Well, it's Lego Man and his new bride, new wife, Olivia Pollack. Olivia and her brother were on a run for a while to get away from the feds, Kev. Kev was allegedly at January 6th as well.
I allegedly thought about going on the run.
Yeah, well, that's true. And you could have hid in Detroit. They'll never find you there.
They wouldn't even look.
They wouldn't even look in Detroit. But let me know when you get Lisa for the headlines because, I wanted to kick that off with her and keep her in the loop. We're also bringing in segment 2 is very important. And I don't want to be always political on the show, but really it's all about the country. I'm bringing in a gentleman named John Goodman. John Goodman is on the front lines with the Save America Act. He's on the front lines with the voter fraud. Who do you have? You got Lisa? Lisa Azzarelli from West Palm Beach, the new capital of America, I understand. How are you, Lisa?
Hey, doing good here, Joe. Loving it in the beautiful sunshine state of freedom.
You know, here I was stumbling and tripping and falling because I really don't have the headlines, and I was hoping that you'd be in for me today, and you are. Thank you, my friend. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, we've got some great hot headlines today, so be prepared. First of all, aside from the fact that we have great guests, I'm going to bring you up to speed on that. I want to take notice of Comey's appearance on NBC. I hope that our panel will rip this to shreds. Comey appears and he turns and says that he has no confidence in the judiciary and that he believes, or in law enforcement currently under Trump's administration, and that he believes that everyone should stay put and run it out for the 2 more years, and then they're going to regroup. So he's basically sounding like an intel trader planner on the inside. It is incredible that he has no fear of accountability. So we're going to keep our eyes on Comey, and if his 86-47 and now his current announcement on NBC interview will come to any fruition for accountability. Okay, then we have artificial intelligence is growing stronger. We're going to make our American First podcast viewers aware that we need to be on the edge of our seats for this. Elon Musk just lost his lawsuit against OpenAI, in which he wanted it to remain a public domain. And Sam Altman instead has used the funds to make it more private. This is very serious because Tristan Harris, who runs a committee for the ethics on AI, has discovered that AI had went behind the scenes of one of the programmers, top programmers, and broke its own firewall and began creating its own code to mine Bitcoin. So AI, like the Matrix, has already begun controlling itself. It is getting out of control. Let's stay tuned on that. Also, we have the SCOTUS birthright citizenship case coming up very soon in June. We're going to find a decision on Trump's executive order regarding birthright citizenship. Is this a big problem? It most certainly is. As we have just recently learned that Suffolk County alone, Joe, right there, guys, we had 119 Turkish women give birth in Suffolk, paid for by the taxpayer under Medicaid, and they had birthright citizenship for their children and then returned to Turkey. That happened, believe it or not, in 2018. There has been a ton more since then, and it was only recently revealed not too long ago. So that is a huge problem. And we have only 33 countries in the world who do this. And it seems that America is the most lenient at this point, with California topping the charts, Texas second, and New York running in their clothes for receiving all these birthright citizenship babies. All right. Aside from that, explosive CIA whistleblower testimony, and not one Democrat shows up to hear it. Fascinating. The CIA whistleblower came forth. Erdman was his name. The CIA was not happy that he came forth. And we have Rand Paul asking for accountability. Again, accountability not being seen anywhere. The whistleblower did determine that there was a cover-up under Fauci's administration in which they lied to the public regarding the origins of the virus. It was indeed from a Wuhan lab, which had affiliations with funding that seems to have run through Fauci's authorities. Very, very serious. And then a few more. Mark Furman, the former LA police detective that was convicted of lying during the O.J. Simpson trial, has passed away. So that was quite some time ago, but I'm sure we all remember that. And so Furman, rest in peace. But we have a lot to learn about how authorities do lie. Last but not least, Randy Weingarten in the news again. The union president found to have funneled money out of union taxpayers, union dues from the union members, to write her manifesto, her book recently on fascism. And so that's interesting. When the book was published, she also received money for the book and did not return the funds, kept it for herself. Those are the big headlines. I can't wait to kill it.
Lisa, I'm sorry, I didn't hear this. Can you run that past me again? Randy Weingarten, she's the boss of the teachers union, right?
Correct. The American Federation of Teachers.
All right, so she swiped money from the union, because unions are always on the up and up. They're never mobbed up or anything, or Marxist up. So she took the money, she wrote a book about fascism and kept the money? Is that what you're telling us?
That is what I am telling you, KDJ. It can't get worse than that, okay?
Wow.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
My
Wow.
goodness gracious. I got to tell you, Lisa, I love when you bring us the news. You never seem to let us down. And, well, I guess the news in general. Your delivery is fantastic. We got about a minute and a half left. And, John, I'd like to give him the opportunity to talk about that James Comey issue. Right, Johnny boy?
Yes, it's very nice that you passed the mic to me, Joe, because I know it's your show. And anyway, I love the show and I'm here. But it was funny because I live in Setauket area, and I said I would take the dogs for a walk, and I found this shell on the beach.
No way did you find that
found
shell.
this shell
Aligned,
on the beach,
face
right
up
next to
beautifully like
Comey's
that?
book.
Wow.
Oh, my.
That's amazing.
This was on the beach. It was
Can I see it, Johnny? What does it say?
Be careful holding that up.
86, 86
Careful,
ago.
don't post it. Do not post that.
I couldn't believe I found this. I couldn't believe it.
Lisa, can I run my theory past you about Comey?
Do it. Bring
This,
it, KDJ.
this is
I
not
love
about the seashells primarily. They're going to link him up to something bigger. I'm wondering if it has something to do with his daughter, who worked for the DOJ, telling Jeffrey Epstein, "Give me something on Comey, give me something on Trump, and I'll let you walk." What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree with you absolutely, 110%. I think that what they're hoping to push for in the new indictment on Comey is that it will open discovery and we can learn more from that. So fingers crossed, because accountability is needed. They are unstoppable. And I would also like to mention and welcome Jill Nicolini on the set. And we have John Goodman coming and Roger Morse and his wife, Olivia.
You know what I really love? I love the power of the Holy Spirit as it's moving through this warehouse and moving through the country, bringing God back to families and all the beautiful things that he does for us. We're going to be right back after these messages.
God bless you.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single, Justice for All, with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. Well, get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back to the America First podcast, Monday, May 19th. We're happy to have you viewing because we have fabulous guests today. We're going to bring in John Goodman. Goodman is a member of the Florida Election Committee, and John has worked tirelessly on mail-in ballots, election fraud claims, and helping the great Tina Peters, who was just pardoned. So please, John, bring us up to date on the great work that you do, and welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be on your show, and I appreciate you having me. Well, mainly the work I do is on executive orders having to do with mail-in ballot and the election integrity, focusing on mail-in ballot. And really, right now is a pivotal time for me to be on your show because we're down to 170 something days until the midterm elections. And as we stand right now, real time today, we're in no better shape than we were in 2020. And why is that? Well, I will tell you some breaking news that your viewers and fans of the America First Warehouse may not know is that Donald Trump, over almost a year ago, was ready to release a national security emergency on elections. And it was accompanied by a 17-page executive order, which I've had, and it would have solved everything that's in the SAVE Act: voter ID, voter registration, illegal aliens voting out the window. It would have also gone to hand count paper ballots and done away with the crooked voting machines. But the problem was President Trump was talked out of releasing it because he was told that the SAVE Act was the cure to our elections. And at first I said, okay, maybe it is. But then time kept going and going, and it was obvious it wasn't going to pass. And so we needed to find a backup plan that could be done between now and the midterms that did not have Democrat obstruction, court injunction, and was legal. So I will explain, if you'd like me to, the idea that was actually developed by podcaster Wayne Allen Root, and then I worked with him on refining it, and we've gotten it to President Trump and his legal team, and it's gotten good reviews. So if you want me to, I'll be happy to explain what that is.
That sounds good. John, so let's recap for our viewers. So we're saying that we had election integrity issues. They have largely been unresolved. We had this SAVE Act, which was supposed to save us, especially in the upcoming midterms. And instead, is it correct that John Thune, the Senate chair, is the one who had kind of quashed it? Can you verify that for us, please? And why did the SAVE Act not go through? And as a response, you're going to be explaining to us a plan B, so to speak, correct?
You are 100% correct, okay, Lisa, with an exclamation point behind it.
Thank you.
So the bottom line is, I'm not a big fan of John Thune. I think that we could have a much stronger leader in the Senate. But in all fairness, if every single Republican voted for the SAVE Act, it would still be 7 votes short. Wow. That's the thing. And I don't think there are 7 Democrats in the Senate that are going to vote to eliminate their own cheating mechanisms. It just, So although John Thune has not done a great job, it's, in only fairness, I tell you that even if you had the Tom Tillis and the Murkowski and the Susan Collins and the rest of the rhinos voting yes to the SAVE Act, it still wouldn't have enough votes to pass. And I will tell you, I have nothing personal against Scott Pressler, who's been the big advocate for the SAVE Act, and he's been effective. He was one of the main reasons why Trump won Pennsylvania in 2024. But I called Scott and I said, Scott, why are you still pushing the SAVE Act when you know it doesn't have the votes? And even if it miraculously passed, Lisa, it would be challenged by the Democrats and would never make it through the court system in time for the midterms anyway. So the fact that 70% of Republicans are still saying the SAVE Act is the cure to our elections in November is just not the case. And it's very dangerous. And the longer we stick with that mentality, the more chance that we'll have Hakeem Jeffries and AOC calling the shots in November. And that'll be a catastrophe for this nation.
We can't have that, John. So please give us details. You have been an expert in this. You've been on the front line. What is the plan B?
Well, plan B is that Donald Trump should release a national security emergency on elections based on the fact that millions of illegal aliens are voting in our elections, changing the results. And this is not hard to prove. California, as you know, is very vocal with their motor voter law, where illegals can get IDs and voting rights, like, boom, right at the BMV. But what makes Wayne's plan so good is because he brought me this plan, and then I needed to research it to make sure it was legal, that it couldn't be obstructed, and that it could be done before the midterms. So he gave me the raw plan, and like he said, I give him the ammo, and he takes it to President Trump. That's what he said. But here's the deal. In order for Congress to undo President Trump's national security emergency, it would take a 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate within 6 months of the day he signed it. And that's relevant because the Democrats will yell, scream, moan, groan, but they won't be able to stop the national security emergency. And just briefly, I'll tell you what happened. The National Emergency Act was passed by Congress in 1976, and originally a simple majority could undo a presidential national security emergency. But then Ronald Reagan in the early 80s challenged it and said that Congress should not be able to take down a national security emergency because it's an emergency. So the Supreme Court ruled in 1983 that in order to do that, in order to take down a national security emergency from a president, 2/3 vote in both chambers within 6 months. That's not going to happen. Neither party could get 2/3. Neither party could get 2/3 majority on a lemonade stand. I mean, you know, much less anything else. So it definitely is the safe way, unobstructable, no court, and the Supreme Court will not even hear it, Lisa, because the Supreme Court will say, we've ruled on it. If you want his presidential national security emergency down, okay, get 2/3 votes in 19. So
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's
the ticket.
inspiring. Yes, that really
the
sounds
ticket.
like a much more sensible plan.
Yes.
Do we agree,
Well,
panel?
Trump's gotta do
Let's
something.
ask. I mean, KDJ, Joe, John,
brilliant.
you guys have seen it for yourselves
never knew
that
this.
we have a lot of issues right here in New York with election malfeasance. We know Judicial Watch brought down a whole bunch of improper ballots that they had to clean out. We know that there has been numerous other organizations as well who have brought forth great materials showing Minnesota alone. I've also learned from my good friend on my other podcast, Weekly Whistle, that he is a retired Homeland Security investigator, and he said in Minnesota they do not even have to show ID. This is craziness, and we need to get it under control. It is absolutely an emergency. What are the next steps? How can we get this? How does it get to Trump's desk?
Well, Wayne Allen Root, and I think Joe the Box also has a way to contact President Trump directly if needed. And Joe the Box, modest guy, but he's got connections. Don't kid yourself. Wayne Root has sent it to President Trump and has sent it also to Trump's legal team. And Steve Stern, who I want to mention, who is the election integrity guru of this entire country. Steve Stern is the man when it comes to election integrity. He's my mentor. I know he's a good friend of Joe the Box. He's a close friend of mine. He supports this. But him and I got a call from Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks ago. Donald Trump was not there, but the Trump legal team was meeting there concerning elections. And the initial response is a positive one. Nothing, though, as we all know, happens without President Trump signing it. But I believe he will, because if you think about it, the country would be a loser if the Democrats rigged the November election. But the biggest loser of all might be President Trump, because he'll be right back in phony trials, phony impeachments. They will stop his MAGA agenda as quick as you can wink. And so the country, and Donald Trump especially, will be adversely affected if the Democrats are able to cheat in November. So I firmly believe he will take action, and we needed to give him the option of action that can't be obstructed, because the Democrats would have struck Donald Trump if he had a cure for cancer. So let's just take the courts and the Democrats completely out of the picture. Let them cry, let them moan, let them groan. But in 1983, the Supreme Court said you can do all that, but it's going to stand unless you get 2/3 majority in both chambers. So it's the way to go, and that is a great plan, and we're hoping that that is what's going to happen soon, Lisa.
I
John,
love
you
the
have
plan.
my spirits high. Joe, what do you
Lisa,
think?
I'm jumping in here. I love the plan. I really do. John Goodman, you're one of the hardest working patriots I know. You're relentless. You mentioned my friend Steve Stern. Steve Stern is the guru when it comes to election integrity. We got 30 seconds left, Johnny boy. How does everybody get you here at the warehouse? Because I want a link set up right away, fam. We can help up with his what he's doing. Where do we find you?
That's great. Thank you, Joe, the box. I am on Getter at John Good 1965 at JOHNGOOD 1965, and I keep you updated on elections. I keep you updated on Tina Peters, and as Steve will tell you, and I think Joe the Box knows this, I will never post anything, zero, unless it is vetted, factual, and researched by me first.
God bless you, John Goodman. We'll see you soon.
Gotcha.
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
Politics feeling broken? What if you could match with politicians the way you match on a dating app, but based on real values? Meet OpScore from GoUSA, the first ever values-based political matchmaker. Think Match.com for elections that aligns voters with politicians. We score politicians on a nonpartisan scale based on your priorities. Track your politician scores and take our OpScore Challenge survey to match with leaders who align with you at opscore.org. Stop voting blind. Start matching smart. Politicians work for you.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live
on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. I do feel that. And that was written for me like 4 or 5 years ago, that song. Some crazy guy came in, Frank Hudak. Knock, knock, Hudak.
I know him.
Yeah, he's a comedian and a writer, and he lives in a private, kind of like private hell, because he has to do all of the social media for the Democrats in New York.
Oh, that's his job?
That's his job.
So we got a guy undercover.
You might say. Well, one of the things that I want to do, and I'm so happy to have Jill Nicolini with us today, and I'm kind of glad that Gino's not here, honestly.
So what happened? Someone called out?
Yeah,
Was it an
Gino
excuse?
Biscotti usually he's always late, right?
Okay.
But he was supposed to come today because he would be a regular on your show. We're trying to see how it kind of works.
Dynamic would be, yeah, if there is.
You know what? You could drop Gino and I into a desert and say, go talk to that scary-looking person who's been living in the desert for 19 years who doesn't have electricity, and we would get along with it. It's going to be
perfect.
You're gonna have
Well, we
fun.
did have an extra chair, though, so you're always welcome. But
Well, thank you.
Joe took the chair down because Gino.
Now, Jill, I love this about you, and what I do is sometimes I come up with themes and concepts, okay? And one of the things I'd like to pass around to everybody was, what does the American dream, look like to each one of us? And that's kind of like one of the concerns. And I'll give you a chance to think about it, but let's start with Kevin. What does the American dream look like to you?
The American dream to me looks like a complete lack of communism. It looks like you get what you get whatever you put into life, that's what you'll get back. You can't be lazy. This is not Marxism. We don't just give you food because you exist. You want to succeed? This is the place to do it. I don't see people lining up to get into Sudan. I don't see people lining up to get into any of the poopy hole countries. They're lining up, coming from there to get here, because this is a land of opportunity. However, the Democrats have made it the land of handouts. And that's what needs to stop. We can't have the land of handouts. Oh, so we're going to move there, and all we got to do is vote for the blue. Yeah, well, there are people who will sign up for that because they're used to far worse. But this is opportunity. Stop paying people to come here, you filthy Democrat monsters.
Before you turned into this raving extremist, terrorists.
I've been called a Nazi and white supremacist, and it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday. Did you... you had comedy before. This was never really something that you really had to put into your show, right? Was your show political at all times, or when did that happen?
Never. The stand-up comedy show I do is not political, unless I get there and people say, "Hey, we want you to do some, political jokes." Then I'll clown slap the left and the idiots. But what happened was I came out so out loud and proud for Trump that a bunch of comedy clubs said, "Well, we're not going to book you because MAGA." So I got a job writing at PJ Media. Then I got a radio show. Now I'm here. I'm on live from Studio 6B at RAV. I've made way more than those animals took out of my pocket. Suck it, Lib. Suck it.
Way to go, KDJ. You are inspirational to me. Now, one of the things I always do is as I get stuck on the reels and stuff, Jill, I see you and I know that your American dream has to be a lot like the kind of way you're living right now with your boys, right? What is the dream? What is
No, I
America?
got an 11-year-old and 9-year-old, 2 boys. So to me, as a single mom who actually had a child by myself, I feel like anything is possible, right? And I'm a firm believer in if you want it, you could have it. You could do it. You got to just work hard. So don't ever let anyone tell you no or you can't, because it's possible. My American dream was always to be a mother. And I couldn't do it any other way. But then I found the way and I did it. And it's one of the best things I've ever done. Hardest things, because I almost missed the show today too, because my son was sick in school. I had to pick him up. But it's what you do because you love it and you love your children. And to me, my dream came true. I have the family that I've always wanted. I have my boys, and that means everything. Career, it comes, it goes, it's fine. But to me, my American dream is to have a family, no matter how you have a family. I don't care if you're gay, if you're a lesbian, if you're a single parent, 3 dads, 4 dads, doesn't matter to me. You make a family, and if that's important to you, that's my dream. So no matter how you have it, family's family.
Well, I believe that you do live that because I noticed a few of your skits you had them like at the zoo and stuff.
Oh, we go everywhere. We just got back yesterday. That's why I was not able to text back Teresa. Sorry, because I was driving home from Niagara Falls. I took the boys to Canada. We stayed over the Marriott Falls View on the Canadian side. Gorgeous. I brought my sister, her husband, their 2 kids. We all squished into my Kia, and it was an amazing road trip. I want to see things. I want to explore, and the beauty of Ontario was gorgeous. New York side, not as nice, but I do love my country. And just driving the roads to look around and see all the farmland, it's just like, wow, we have so much here.
Well, I do believe that the family is so important, and I love the way she explains it because, Lisa, you have a very similar America dream, don't you?
Oh, I will tell you, Joe. Okay.
Tell us.
First and foremost, you wear the shirt proudly. So I'll say we're going to bring it back to one nation under God. That is really the American dream. We had a beautiful prayer service at the White House grounds just this weekend, and bringing that forward. Let's quote Thomas Jefferson. We are in the 250-year anniversary this year of our great country. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is really what makes each and every American citizen able to obtain their dreams, able to have the families that they have. And God bless, I agree with Jill on that. My children are the core of my life. I am blessed for my husband, Anthony, as Joe knows. And so, yes, absolutely 100%, including you, Grandpa Joe, with your expanding family too.
Johnny boy, I know that I love you so much, and I know the tragedy has struck you, and family life has kind of eluded it. But you and I were watching something this morning, and you said, "Oh, I was like that with my sons on the boat and things like that." I mean, you have the American dream still, and
I am living the American dream. I couldn't be happier. Well, I could be happier, but I have to agree with Jill that the family core is what it's all about. And when I'm living my American dream, you know what I see? I see my son living the life that I grew up with him. I taught him. Not that I lived a life with my boys and I raised them and I was a great dad, and they are doing the same thing. I see them on their Facebook pages, their love for my grandchildren on the boat and living the American dream. Boy, that's what it's all about.
You know, I wanted to be a mother, and the Democrats said, you can.
Yeah.
yeah, but you used to be a Democrat. You're a Democrat no more, so you
I
can't
used
do
to
it.
be,
Sorry.
yeah. I gave that up for Lent, never went back.
I will tell you that I lived the American dream just like my brother John did, my parents, right here on Long Island. I never knew any other life. And last week when we were talking about this, I explained that I thought everybody lived the life that I did. I thought everybody I went to school with, I went to some of their homes. I mean, they were doing pretty good for themselves, you know. They were able to do the things that I did. But it's not available to everybody.
Well, the American dream has to be there, and I'm going to tell you right now that we are in a spiritual warfare. We are all about putting God first, and they're not. And, it's a slippery slope that we're on, and if we don't put God first, we're in trouble. That's what I think it has to be.
Yeah, the power of the Holy Spirit really moves all the way around. I can only talk about my great friend Rudy Giuliani, how he had miraculously come back. He had explained to us that he saw, heaven. He was on the stairs, the stairway to heaven, and his friend that he knew his whole life had turned him around and said that you're not done, and there's things you have to do. And he recovered from a near-death experience with a ventilator and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy, right?
Wow, I haven't heard that story.
Yeah. I was told that. I know exactly.
You tune into the America First podcast, Kevin. You're going to get a lot of information. He's pretty.
I'm on it. I didn't know that.
So John brings up a great point, Jill, and it gets me upset when so many Americans fight us on that thought process of bringing God, first. Are you a believer, first of all, and does that come into your life at all?
Oh, I sure am. My goodness, my boys, we do religion once a week. We go to church on Sundays, not every Sunday because of sports, and you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to be Catholic, you have to be anything you are, whether it's Protestant, Jewish, I don't care. We all have a God. I think we all have one God. We're all praying to the same person, and I think that person needs to be thanked in the morning. Every morning I make my boys wake up and say, I'm thankful, I'm grateful. I make them look in that mirror and tell them I'm beautiful, I'm gorgeous, I could do this. And I try to instill a value of, love for God, for whoever that is one day, and to know that our family's around us, our friends are still with us. I think faith is so important. And I just do not like when people argue over religion, because we're all going to one place, the same place, wherever that is. Pray to whoever, but I think it's all one. I think we're all united no matter how divided we are sometimes.
I like to believe that God will, because I believe that we are going to be judged. And I experienced something yesterday. I got a minute and a half left over here. I went to my son's graduation for his master's. He's moving into psychology, and he graduated from Hofstra University yesterday. His next step is his doctorate, which he'll do, and he'll go forward with that. They're very, they love the life that they live, but I think sometimes they don't really understand how fragile this life is for them and how quickly it might change. But when I brought this up, and this might surprise you, they had the prayer in the beginning, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And I sat there, and the guy got up. He had this hat on, and he had this long robe on, and it wasn't a robe of graduation. It was a robe of Islam. And he wanted everybody to know that the God is for everybody. His God is not our God. I got to tell you, I was so disgusted. I had to get up and walk out. Thank God I was sitting with my father-in-law in the handicap session because he can't walk up and down the stairs. But I was so disgusted. And this is exactly why we're in trouble. This is exactly why the country's in trouble. I promise you, Jill, and I promise you that, even though the America First podcast gets very emotional when it comes to our rights and responsibilities and how much we love our Lord, your show is going to be a little different, all right? We're going to talk about barbecuing, about cooking, about great stuff right after this. Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
The America First Warehouse.
We're back here at the America First warehouse. It got a little hot. The lights are bright in here, and we do have a 12.5-ton air conditioning unit that I put upstairs on the roof.
I feel it. I'm freezing.
Yeah, I just turned it on, so you should chill pretty soon. But we were
I'm gonna put
talking
my
about
jacket
the
on.
American dream and the things that you do to become an American, why it's so important. And I want to go back to Lisa, and I want to ask her as well. I mean, you have your family, you raised your family. Did you move everybody to Florida? And is it better in Florida or in New York? Where is the best American dream?
Well, I will say this much. There is definitely a lot more courteousness and a lot more God bless yous here in Florida than I tended to get in New York. But the truth is that my children took the lead on this, and they moved us here. My daughter just graduated law school out of Miami, Florida International this past weekend. So big congrats to her. My son is pursuing boat mechanic and tech here. Wonderful vocational training.
lower and lower.
Things we don't see anymore, especially in New York, the push for technical and vocational training. And then my youngest she's a Gator at the University of Florida, and she's pursuing education like her mom. So it was the kids who made the push for us, but it has been a wonderful change. We still, come to visit New York. We still have interest invested in New York, as well as my in-laws. So, and peace and prayers for them as they struggle through some medical issues. But overall, it's hard to let our hearts go with New York. So we remain there, just like I remain dedicated to the warehouse.
Well, I love when you're in New York. You know that. And we want to continue to grow America First movement out of here. And you're a big part of it. If you don't mind sticking around a little bit, Lisa, I'm bringing on some great patriots that you've met before. And I know that you might want to ask a few questions to both Mr. and Mrs. Robert Moores. If you remember his chocolate brown curls. I love them curls. So please stick around. Let's continue coming over here because I have a direct hit on Jill Nicolini because, one of the things I do, Jill, is I really like to put people on the spot. And I said earlier, some big guy came in here and he was all, hubbida, 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 hubbida. Do you know who she is? I said, no. He's the Islander girl. So are you the Islander girl, and how did you become an Islander girl?
I used to be the New York Islander girl, yes, for the NHL, for the hockey team here, Long Island, back in the old Nassau Coliseum, where it should be.
Drive for 5.
Yeah. So I was the arena announcer. So I interviewed the people in the stands, on the crowds, did the promotions. I was not an ice girl, even though people think I was. I can ice skate, but not that good. I had that job for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Was that in the 90s or
That
2000?
was in early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was also a dancer for the New York Dragons. Remember the Arena Football League we had here? Yeah.
I remember the dances.
Yeah, that was one of them. And then I got that job, and then I left. I had to go over to California. I filmed a show called Married by America. It was on Fox, and people are like, what's that? It was like one of the first reality shows. So then I got rid of that job, came back, and then I started working in news.
So were you always a Islander girl? I mean, you grew up in Long
I'm
Island?
not even
or-
big into sports still to this day. I could care less. I root for whatever
But you
team I
was
go to
born
the
in Long
game.
Island. You live on Long
Born in
Island?
Long Island, yeah, but doesn't matter to me. I like the Rangers. I like the Mets. I like the Yankees. I don't have a preference. I just like.
Well, isn't Mondami doing something for the Mets?
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact.
Yes. Did you see him on the front page of the Post?
Did you
That
hear
was
this?
great.
Yeah. Well, what he wants to do, and I mean, I know you're not a sports follower, but Kevin, you might like this. He wants to take the runs from the Yankees because they got so many.
It's only
and he wants to share them with the Mets.
It's only fair.
Well, he jinxed them, right?
Yeah.
By hugging the mascot.
Yeah, so
love it.
back on the American dream, I had done something with my boys. See, my boys are not very politically involved. They look at me, I come in with the America First van, or they look at me with my motorcycle, my Corvettes, I'm waving flags, because I am just like so afraid that the freedoms that we do and the American dream that we have is not going to be available. I mean, this might still be available to my sons, but what about my new grandson that was born? My grandson was born on the 8th of this month. And his name is Luca. And Luca is, I held him once or twice because they're very tiny. You know what I mean? I get very nervous. His head is a little loose like that.
Does Grandpa do diaper duty yet?
Not yet, man. I didn't do diaper duty with my own kids. I mean, I don't really remember that. But it was funny because at nighttime, this morning, I hear the baby wah, wah, going crazy in the other room, and I go, my wife, Tony, isn't that sound great?
We don't have to get up this time.
No, you're not getting up for it. But just listen how beautiful that is.
You were blessed like me. We had all boys, so we were very familiar with the parts. I did a few diapers in my day. I know my dad said he never did, but I don't believe him.
Yeah, you used to take my mom confirmed this. John would take his diaper off and throw it in my crib. I don't know why he would do that.
And I blamed it on you. You did it.
Yeah, I went over and took your own crib. Yeah, there's something wrong with that story. But these are all part of what I feel is the American way of life and the things that we all want. My sons want this. They want to have their children. They want to raise them. They want to do the things that that I did with them. And it's just I'm going to fight so hard for that.
In our life growing up, we were not politically involved either. I mean, if I waited online to vote for somebody and the line was too long, I left. I really wasn't like I am now. Now I am.
What turned that corner?
Obviously, the death of my son and open borders, and then Donald Trump coming down and saying he's going to clean it all up. I love that, man. Love him.
Well, we're on a mission, John, and it really did revolve around, that death of your son, Joseph Lewis. And every time him and I, it's very hard, John and I, in particular John, but every time I talk about what we're doing and building this media, his son was very involved. He had the apps already built for the Boy Scouts, I remember. He was very, very...
He had 7 patents. He was a masters in the computer. So he had developed apps, sold one to the Boy Scouts of America, 7 patents. So the kid was brilliant. 24 years old. That's what he did,
Yeah, I guess that'll wake it up, too. And I don't want to wish that on anybody, but, I'm not going to let him have to do that. We got some great friends that are going to be coming on and I'm in right at the end of this great book, Still Here, written by Robert Moores when he was in jail. And, I was writing down all the different names and so many people that got caught up to this. And because they felt the same way we did on January 6th. They felt that the country was being stolen from underneath us and all of these great freedoms that we have are going to be gone. And that's exactly what happened. All right. So, Kevin, with a couple more minutes here we got going on, what freedoms did they steal from you?
Well, the good news is, allegedly I was there, and but unindicted. What did they steal from me? About a year and a half of staying awake with my clothes on till 7 a.m. every day, just in case they kicked in the door. There's that. There's a bunch of work. People said, look at this guy. He's an insurrectionist. He tried to take over the country armed with, as I was saying to our friend Lego Man, armed with a Trump flag and an arrhythmia. That's a heart palpitation, because that's what I got. As though we were really there to do that. I lost a ton of work, a ton of sleep. The pressure, I can't even tell you. When you're waiting for them to kick in the door, it's tremendous. Friends, family, the people that don't talk to me because they really think I was there to take over the nation.
Jill, you don't, politics doesn't come involved in your life too much, but I mean, you went through the pandemic and stuff. There had to be some issues that might have bothered you a little bit about
Oh, my God. Well, I just lost my mother, speaking of loss, and that's a hard thing for anyone when you lose a family member, right? But COVID, what a time. I had 2 little ones, work, lost my job, lost, it just seems like looking back, it's just like a memory. It's like a commercial. It's like it doesn't seem real what happened to us, to everyone, to say, hey, this is happening. How could this be in this day and age for us all to be affected? But I'll tell you one thing, what COVID did for me, and I think it brought everyone together. The first time in how long was everyone, we're talking everyone around the world was affected with something, but we were all together. We could stand together. We were all experiencing it together. And then after that came mental health awareness. I think it became a lot more acceptable for people to start talking about their feelings and about what they're going through. Loss of job, loss of family, loss of, so much normalcy. But we all went through something together, which I think brought us closer in the end. So I think there is some good to come out of that pandemic because we learned how precious life can be.
It's sad because the left is so adamant in their way of thinking that unfortunately, the only thing that would turn them is something tragic to happen into their life, and then they would probably think differently.
Well,
You know
just
what?
go ahead, Kevin. You got something hot? Tell me.
Well, I was just to what John said. There was a time when seatbelts weren't part of the car. If you wanted that, you had to pay extra. And then we learned, because so many people got killed, oh, maybe we need seatbelts. But the point that, to your point, John, is sometimes we got to go through bad things to go, oh, okay, now I see.
What happened to the ashtrays in the car?
That's what I would love to know. I don't have one either.
What happened to the ashtrays? I got one in my 79.
Do you remember when it was legal to smoke on an airplane?
Yeah.
On there, I'm sitting in the non-smoking section, but then you're like overcome by all the smoke and nicotine.
I remember when they used to make a nice dinner on the plane too.
Yeah.
You could, too.
And you had real silverware.
Could you imagine that?
I see Lisa blinking in, but we got a minute left, Lisa. Can you tell us how what they stole from you?
They stole her voice.
Well done.
Well, they can hear it. We can't.
Lisa, I love you.
Still alive
We're
on the
blinking in and out of our Zoom. So the one thing they stole from you is your voice, is what I was told by Jill. And I thought that was a great comedic
She lost her
line.
voice.
That was perfect.
She did.
But
she
you look
did.
beautiful.
But I think they can hear her just because we can't. You know.
I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, no, she was great. But if we can clean her up, because I do know that I'm bringing on Mr. and Mrs. Robert Moores. I'm going to introduce you to them. With the 30-second introduction that I have for them, I will tell you that they are American citizens that love the American country, that love the American way of life strongly enough to be there on January 6th, get sucked into the January 6th lie, because there's so many lies, right? And we're going to bring Robert and Olivia on when we get back, and we're going to talk about their amazing stories, both of them.
And their love
Incredible
of Jesus.
pages.
Big time.
And their love for Jesus.
250 years ago, a nation was born. Built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
Politics feeling broken? What if you could match with politicians the way you match on a dating app, but based on real values? Meet OpScore from GoUSA, the first ever values-based political matchmaker. Think Match.com for elections that aligns voters with politicians. We score politicians on a nonpartisan scale based on your priorities. Track your politician scores and take our OpScore Challenge survey to match with leaders who align with you at opscore.org. Stop voting blind. Start matching smart. Politicians work for you.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won, it's not about what party, it's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
And you'll be able to look and see it yourself.
Hello.
Oh, well, we're back on the air? Are we back on? I'm sorry. I was just ripping through this most incredible book called Still There. And this is the story of while he was in jail, Robert Moores, and the friends that he made, the people that he came across, the situations that happened. You know, what happened? I honestly thought for the whole, ever since Ashley Babbitt was murdered, we at the warehouse, we created a corner for her. We set up a table. We wanted to know why. And then every day that went by, I always wanted to know what was happening to these great people, these J6s that were set up, man. Right, and attacked and went into the house in the morning and took him out. Robert Moores, they waited till the last day of school. He was teaching high school history. That's what they waited. He was dressed up, ready to go. They couldn't wait to get him out and bring him down to the D.C. jail. They bounced him around Northern Neck Jail, and then I'm reading the situations in the book where he had used and leaned on God so strongly, and God really got him through that. I really don't want to waste too much time. Robert Moores is here at the warehouse. Robert, God bless you. Thank you for coming back. How did you prepare your beautiful chocolate curls so nicely this morning?
Well, hey, thanks for having us on, Joe. We love you, and we're honored to be here. I will say that I think instead of popular belief where I might have walked in with some curls or a perm, this is actually a blessing from God and my mama. So, and actually, you know, come to think of it, it came in handy while I was locked up. A lot of people thought it was mixed because of the hair. So I think that actually kind of came in handy while I was doing time. But yeah, I mean, think about the hair that I've got and the hair that my wife's got, man. We're going to have some beautiful curly-haired kids.
You're going to have some hairy kids. There is the beautiful Olivia Pollack. And
Not no more. It's Morse.
Oh, it's
I apologize. It is Morse. But Olivia Pollack that I've known, and John had said it before, we were... I spent a lot of time with your parents, who are very strong faith believers. I believe he's even a pastor. So how are you, Olivia? I can't tell you how happy I am to see you here. One of the women, few women that were locked up from it. How are you, Olivia? Thank you for coming.
I'm doing incredible. I'm so thankful to be here and finally get to see the America First Warehouse in person.
Yeah.
This is so awesome. And like you said, my parents feel very highly about all of you here and the support that you gave all of us, because you were out there fighting for us while we were in. And even before then, a lot of people know my story. I was on the run for a little bit of time with my brother, and then incarcerated in D.C. for 13 months. But your support and love for all of us means so much, and we're very grateful.
That's incredible. I don't know if Jill, you were aware of this, or even Kevin was aware of it. Mr. and Mrs. Pollack, were they involved in hiding you, Olivia, or did you use your own sense and skills to be a homesteader?
It was a little bit of both. I'm not going to incriminate anybody, but we'll just say it was a family effort. But,
well,
yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Now, your brother, I found out was a little older than you, I thought you were twins like Johnny and I, because I feel like Johnny and I could survive almost anywhere.
Yes, it was actually, he's younger than me, so he's my younger brother, but we're best friends. We grew up very close, as there's 8 in our family. I have 7 siblings, and we were raised as a tight family, and so when all this happened, it was me and my brother that were wanted, and our relationship became even closer, became my best friend, but it was definitely a
So when you
joint
were
effort.
incarcerated, were you both incarcerated at the same time?
We were arrested the same day, and like Robert, how they used the last day of school to arrest him, they used January 6, 2024 as the day to arrest us, though they knew where we were 2 weeks prior, once I found out on my discovery, and they arrested us so we would be headline news. They arrested us the same day. We were in jail the same time, and we got out after the pardon.
Now, so when they brought you in, of course, they separate the men and the women, because for all of a sudden now they know the difference, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I know Robert your time in the DCU gulag was pretty despicable. I mean, where feces and urine would flow through the jails, whether a toilet blew up or not. But then I heard Olivia say that because of Robert, they might have made some changes. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, so there was by the time we got there was quite a few changes that the whole jail recognizes, not just us as January 6ers, but the rest of the inmates that were there.
Regardless of color.
Right. They would come up to me like, it's because of your boys that we don't have to do this and this and this, or that the marshals came in and took care of this problem. And though it was still horrible by the time we got there, we still had toilets overflowing. We were still mopping up in moldy showers and had rat poop in our food and stuff like that. It was going on both sides, female and male. But it was so much better by the time we got there.
I want to capitalize on that point, though, too, because, when you look back at what January 6th was, this was not, though Trump was the catalyst to, activate 75 million Americans to want to take pride in their country and vote for him and stuff like that. January 6th is a universal issue. And had the political parties been flipped, it would have been on us to also be just as upset, because our elections is an American oddity that the rest of the world looks to us in order to maintain and facilitate. And so had the election been stolen the other way, and they could prove it without blaming it all on Putin, it would be on us to also try to right those wrongs. And so for January 6th to be written off as some insurrection because a bunch of, rednecks from the South wanted to just ransack the Capitol, that is the weakest and most pathetic way to try to rationalize what that day was. January 6th had a lot more to do with whether or not we have a constitution in this country anymore. January 6th had everything to do with whether or not we actually have a vote anymore. And how long are we going to continue to have this debate whether or not January 6th should or shouldn't have happened? That January 6th should have happened a long time ago. And as a matter of fact, it's the 250-year anniversary of America. What do you think the Boston Tea Party was? What do you think, Lexington and Concord was? These were men that had, and if you read your Declaration of Independence, you'll notice there's 27 complaints to the king, where they have done everything within their power to be patient and not go to war with the king. But after a long train of abuses, the people took matters into their own hands, and America should be thankful that people like sweet Olivia over here left Florida to go up to D.C. to tell the people in Congress, hey, you messed up. You worked for us down in Florida, or all the way in Texas, or all the way in Pennsylvania, or here at the America First Warehouse. They work for us. It's not the other way around. And so it's a universal issue because we have universal problems that afflict both Republicans and Democrats. And so it's not even a political thing anymore. It's a right and wrong thing. It's a constitutional crisis that we have in this country. And frankly, I think Thomas Jefferson would be proud of January 6th.
I agree.
Great. I love how you said, Robert, I love how you said it, the Boston Tea Party is kind of our generation. Is that what you just said? Because that's amazing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, do the math. I mean, how many events are we proud of here, either in New York or in Pennsylvania or in Jersey, where we stuck it to the British, but if you think about it, the redcoats of their time swapped out blue jackets of the FBI in our time. And so if we got to take a stand up against our own government who's acting tyrannical, resistance is the only option that we have. And so I think it's absolutely necessary so that the government remembers not only who they are supposed to serve, but also so that the American can remember their heritage too. We didn't get this piece of ground by just putting on a mask and going with the flow and saying, yeah, you can inject me with poison. Yeah, you can tax me. Yeah, you can do all this and that. No, our ancestors said, enough's enough. We're drawing a line. And they threw a fit over, what, a 3% tax hike? It kind of makes us look in the mirror and say, what are we willing to put up with?
Mm-hmm. I want to say something, too, about Olivia's mom and dad, because I had met them and spent some quality time with them. I did not know Olivia at the time, but you could see the glow on them. They are blessed by God, and their love for their children, wow, was unbelievable. Anyway, I just wanted to also mention that I get my news from the Trump tracker, so I get from the first hand from the man, and I had heard that they are giving reparations to the J6ers of $1.7 billion.
Not enough.
Anybody
well, it's not
that?
just 1.7, it's 1.776, baby.
Yeah.
That is true. I didn't want to write that number, not thinking that that's what it was, 1776.
That's right.
You're correct. Thank you, Robert.
There's so many things that I'd like to ask. Lisa, do you got a question for this great couple over here? I know you've been preparing.
Oh man, back on the set. Last time we spoke, we talked about how there was a shield in reference to him on the day of January 6th, and then how that shield became the shield of God after his incarceration, while in there finding his more closeness, I should say, to his Lord and Savior. From that point on, I noticed the lovely Olivia and you too have also become a blessing. You've written a book, right? And also, we have a film coming out. So there's a lot of great things going on as a result of this. Changing the narrative on January 6th, you have done an excellent job on really reframing what actually took place. A highlight was taken off of the Capitol Police, where it should have truly been. And now, thankfully, through your work, it is being placed properly where it needs to be, on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That quote from Thomas Jefferson, as you have said. So please tell us about this movie, if you would, and give us a heads up, because the book with all of that memoir and the recount of about 40 incidents is beautiful enough. How does the movie pull it together?
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, so to simplify, I would say that the movie that's coming out very soon, principal photography is going to start August 22nd. But matter of fact, a couple of the scenes are in Joe the Box's hands. So the memoir, the book that he's got there, still there, yes, was kind of like a guiding light for the production team to try to capture exactly how we can communicate 4 years of my journey through the underworld and 4 years of Olivia's journey as she had to, run from the law that she's been, raised to respect all her life. We did our absolute best to do the January 6ers justice. This is not state-sponsored propaganda. We're telling the truth. We actually take some time to incorporate the testimonials of the Chinese Americans who took time out of their day to represent history from what happened to them in China and say January 6th was America's Tiananmen Square. And if communism takes over America, there's nowhere else to go. And that's why they supported us. And they're also in the script because of that very reason.
You know, one of the things, Robert, there's a clock in front of you that tells us when we're out. But that's okay because, it's kind of new for all of us. And since I am responsible for this show, we're going to keep rolling it and we're going to keep those commercials for the end of the show because there's too many important questions. There's too many things that I want to bring to light. I'd like to first give Jill Nicolini an opportunity to maybe address you too.
Well, being the fact I just met you all, I, of course, heard your story, seen you all over the television. I just want to know exactly how the two of you met. I'm sorry. Could you just go over that for me?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, I'll let my wife handle that one.
It wasn't in the book, Robin.
Yeah. I didn't get to read the book yet. Tell me.
Well, it actually happened after the book. Where the book leaves off is where our story kind of begins, although we kind of called January 6th as our first date. Though we didn't know each other at the time, we went through the journey together in a way that by the time we met, we had almost kind of a whirlwind romance because we'd already been tested. We'd already known how each other had gone through the hardest times in both of our lives. And we met at a speaking engagement in Florida. Whoop, whoop, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We met there and we were both speaking. And the whole time I got up to speak, there was this guy. I knew who Robert was, but there was this guy sitting in the front row just staring at me the whole time. And as soon as we had a break, he came up and he's like, "We got to stay in touch." He got my number, and we have not stopped talking since. And we just got married a month ago, and we're super excited. But, yeah, he's become my best friend. And what better person to go through life with than somebody who understands what it's like to be hunted by the government, what it's like to be called, a domestic terrorist, and to pull through it not only with his head held high, but also with his faith in God intact.
Yes.
And it's been such a blessing. And, we've had a great relationship so far, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
KDJ is jumping off his seat over here. I know you got it. You can't see him, but I can. What's going on, Kevin?
Let me ask you guys something. Everyone in the world who says, you guys, bunch of savages, tried to take over the nation. Between the two of you, how many people would you say at January 6th were over 40 years old and were in no way, shape, or form prepared to take on the United States of America. That would include me. I was like 55 at the time, allegedly. What was the average age? When people say that, what would you say was? Because I saw people there in their 80s.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that the average age of the people who attended January 6th were not military-age males that are invading our country on the southern border or through the Canadian border. And those are not refugees. Those are infantrymen from other countries, by the way, but that's a whole other topic. I would say that the average age of people that were at January 6th were there in their retirement years. They were the veterans that fought in Vietnam, in Korea, and a couple of World War II vets that were there. A lot of the people like myself who fought in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, they also showed up. And, you know, I'm 32 now, but I was like, what, 28 at the time? And so there was a wide array of Americans from all across this country who saw the actual insurrection take place on November 3rd, 2020. And we weren't going to put up with it. And so, but, you know, to your point, which is comedic, that how many grandmas were they going to have to hunt down and incarcerate to fulfill a narrative that there was a standing army trying to take over the government? A lot of the people were actually just trying to cash their retirement checks on the same day, too. You know, so it's just such a joke, man.
They really hurt a lot of people, and it is a pretty bad joke. But it seems to be coming out the truth left and right. One of the things that I'd like to ask you about is the hopium dens. The hopium den was a play on, you know, words, of course, but it was developed while you were in prison within your particular cell block.
Yes.
And what you guys did, you kind of entertained yourself with this opium den. Can you explain what is a hopium den, what it created it for, you know, and why it was created, and how helpful was that to get you through?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So, yes, hopium den is a play on words. It is essentially combining the opium dens of old with hope. And the idea was that, and me and Jeff Sable kind of, you know, had this conversation, as you read in the book, still there, that the people that we were locked up with in C2B within the first couple months of our soft tyranny on Biden's watch were going to kill themselves because of the weight of the Department of Justice and everything that we were enduring. And so in order to stop the cultural suicide that was about to sweep through our pods, we put together comedy and talent shows in order to make sure that nobody would hurt themselves and that nobody would give up. I've learned that God is in the laughter, but through my time in the Army, not only studying the Vietnam Rangers who also leaned on levity in order to survive their incarceration as POWs, but I also know that you can't do anything, or you can't ask anyone to do anything, rather, without doing it yourself. So I opened the first Hopium Den show by singing from the Mulan cartoon, I'll Make a Man Out of You, in a ridiculous costume with crowd participation to boot, which got everybody else involved to want to engage in the Hopium Den, believe in it, and for 4 shows later, we would survive the onslaught of the crooked communist government and endure and glory in our sufferings. And then I'd leave DC jail, and then I'd come back and do 2 more shows, but the greatest one of all was Hopium 6, which happened on 4th of July in 2023, and that was a legendary night indeed.
I like that story, that part of that Hopium Den. But that was that in the D.C. Gulag, or didn't that move up to the regional jail?
Yeah, so there were certain elements that I tried to incorporate wherever I went, you know, to try to make sure that people weren't going to give up. I did facilitate some things like that in Lewisburg when we were there because there was a large January 6th presence. And I did everything that I could to make sure that the people around me wouldn't give up and wouldn't give in. Because I knew that we weren't just trying to struggle each and every day. We were also in the fight of our lives and also the fight of our nation. And to a degree, the fate of our nation rested on whether or not the January 6ers were going to capitulate or not. Because if the government learned that they could do X, Y, and Z to the January 6er, that's all it's going to take in order to break the rest of the American society. So I was aware of what was at stake. I was aware that we had to behave like the Avengers. And the only reason why I was aware is because of God's grace and his discernment that he blessed me with. All glory up to God, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Hopium 6 Den, a Hopium meeting, you guys had built something, a flag that you held off the second balcony. Can you tell us about that flag?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories in that book you got in your hands, man. So I started the Hopium 6 by singing Johnny Cash's Ragged Old Flag. And right around the time when, the old man dares Johnny Cash to sit down and asks him if this is the first time to our little town, and Johnny Cash says, "I think it is." And the old man replies, "We don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag." That's when, just like you described, Jeff Sable and Ronnie Millstreet unfurl a bedsheet that had been converted into a Betsy Ross flag with 13 stars made of plastic cutouts from the trays that we were being fed poison every day. And Kool-Aid packet dye had made the blue and the red ink on this ragged old flag that we unfurled on the catwalk. 80 men rise to their feet, they're clapping, they're wiping tears from their eyes, and the Hopium Den began on the 4th of July. That might have been one of the coolest days of my life, other than obviously marrying Olivia. But here we are with no liberty, and yet we're celebrating it on the 4th of July. Here we have no independence, and yet we're celebrating it. And so that was such a bittersweet moment to know that if we don't give up, maybe, just maybe, our country will really know what it's like to celebrate Independence Day. And though we have none now, we're going to celebrate as if we do.
It's going to be the greatest time in our lives, the 250 that's coming around. I want to say that the Still There book, the other comment I'm going to tell you about is that the artwork is done by Olivia, I believe.
My wife painted that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I have to give Joe credit because he's very knowledgeable from reading the book, so he's got some good questions for you. But I know he's reading it because the corners are all bent.
Yeah,
the
and they look
corners
a
are
little
bent 'cause
wet.
I kept marking my thing. But here's the one thing that, Johnny, you can have trouble with. There's not one picture in here.
I know. I'm going to read it. That with no pictures.
Listen, we got some business to take care of because even though my wife Tony and I do pay all the bills around here, we're trying to get some help. And Teresa T-Mac, the greatest patriot ever at the America First Warehouse, is going to fill us in on what's happening at the America First Warehouse.
Can't hear it.
Turn your microphone on. Oh, Teresa, you think this is the first rodeo for you? If you can't get her voice, I'll keep cracking it out with Robin because I got a couple of more. Any work? Any luck, Teresa? I see you. You look great.
She's saying it's not on her end.
It's not on her end.
It's someone upstairs in the control room.
There you go.
Booze.
Back to the book for a second. So that's your bathroom book, right?
Well, I do spend a lot of time when I do go to the
Yeah,
bathroom
I see. Because that
reading.
book, you read it within how many hours?
I got this book when Robert was here, I think. I don't know how
last
I
time
got
he was
it.
here.
Did you give it to me, Robert?
Okay.
Or did
Yeah, I gave it to you last time I was here, yeah.
Yeah, and he wrote a beautiful cover for me. It just blows my mind. And I was really motivated. I was in the middle of Trennis Evans' book, so I didn't really start yours until I was done with Trennis. Another great J6 Patriot.
Call it Insurrection Comrade. Excellent book. by
Teresa, are you back now? I think
here.
that the team fixed it.
Okay, it was a dual. I'll take some blame. There's two buttons. I had one
Let
on.
it
not
rip.
the
You got
other.
4 minutes.
All right. Well, I just want to welcome Robert and Olivia. We love having you here. This past weekend, the America First Warehouse was down in D.C. We had Ernie and James Justice and Gary representing at the Stay Awake America tour, and then bringing God back to the nation. So I'm not going to run a clip for that today. We're short on time, but I'm going to go through these quick. Every Tuesday and Wednesday is our production day. We have a 14-show lineup for you guys. It's 10 weekly shows and 4 monthly shows. And if you scan that QR code, you can get right to our schedule and tune in for the great shows that we produce. And every Thursday night is our faith night, and we start with Bible study with Tom and Amanda Weirman. And then immediately following, we go right to Christ to Conquer the Nations with Pastor Crystal. And this Saturday, if you know James Justice, he's a podcaster here and a great patriot. If you're a patriot and you want to celebrate his birthday with him at Tappan Beach, you can come join us. You can screenshot that, providing the weather holds out for us. He'll let you guys know by Thursday. And this Monday, our great friends at the Queens Village Republican Club will be having a parade, and our very dear friends who are candidates running, Phil Grillo and Greg Hack, will be marching in the parade as well. So if you can get down there and support that, we'd love to see you there. As many of you know, May 30th, we are hosting Rudy Giuliani's birthday party. Joe mentioned earlier in the show the miraculous recovery that he had, and he will be here, and we are very excited. Tickets are unfortunately sold out, but we are anticipating a phenomenal event. Next up is Letitia's house. We are posting this for our dear friends Amanda and Carlito. There is a code on that flyer giving the America First Warehouse supporters 50% off the general admission price. So you can screenshot that and add that code at the bottom. It's supposed to be a great event helping, I think, mothers and babies. We heard your call, so we're delivering. On June 6th, we are hosting a karaoke night here at the America First Warehouse. John Fox, we know you're going to be very excited, and we're looking forward to it. So get your tickets now for that. And we are bringing a new event to you now that we're debuting today. It's the USA Patriots amputee softball team. They will be here doing a 2-day event on the 12th and 13th. But on June 11th, we are hosting an awesome kickoff party here. We might be reaching out more with some great surprises for that event, so stay tuned, but grab your tickets now. And on June 19th and 20th, Rav and AMAC, very good friends of ours, are joining forces to do an all-American barbecue on the 19th. And on the 20th, AMAC will be here for their boot camp for Patriots. So we are very excited to have them in-house. You can get your tickets now. In addition to that, and if you guys can roll that for a second, the Freedom Truck will be here. It's one of the 6 trucks that the White House is putting out throughout the country. It's a mobile museum. It's supposed to be amazing. We're so proud to have it here since it's hard to get to come to your location. And AMAC did secure that, and we're very grateful. So check that out also on the 19th and 20th. On 4th of July Eve, July 3rd, our partners at That Show Tonight, Studio TST with Mike Loftus, will be here bringing you an awesome sketch comedy show. Last time they were here, it was phenomenal. The crowd was laughing, clapping, singing along, so we're super excited for that. And if you want to screenshot, this is our rallies coming up for the remainder of the year. There's a lot more coming. Our item of the week is Sugar Creek Goods. It's a phenomenal Patriot company, so please support us and them by checking out their products. And very quickly, I'm going to go through our affiliates and our partners, and that is Agara Coffee, Mark 37, which is Ghost phones and laptops, securing your financial stability with silver and gold, My Patriot Travel, My Pillow, Mike Lindell's products that are awesome, and then our health and wellness items, LifeWave, Tallow Honey Gold, LifeVantage. And to recap all that, you can scan our QR code to go to our app or our website. Yep, that's it. And thank you so much, team. Back to you guys.
Way to go, Teresa. I got to tell you, I wish you had something to do around here.
Right, me too.
I don't know what all the time you have.
Sitting down in a nap would be nice.
Listen, I gave you a break. I sent Ernie down to Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
You got to sleep.
Yeah, well, I was at my son's graduation, and he's off to Nevada today. So please, all of you, say a prayer for my baby, and thank you so much.
Congratulations with that, graduating your son. Because, Teresa, you love the American dream as well, right? We were talking a lot about that.
I love America so much, and I'll die defending it. I took that stance a few years ago. And
I believe you will. I believe you would, too. We're going to keep fighting very hard. Thank you very much, T-Mac at the America First Warehouse.
Thank you,
I
boss.
want to stick around. I'm going to blow by the commercial, okay? And just give me a couple more minutes because I want to give everybody on my panel an opportunity to address and ask either Olivia, Rob, or both of them a question or concern, all right? And I know that I'm going to go back to West Palm Beach real quick with Lisa Azzarelli. You see how beautiful this couple is over here, right, Lisa? And I know that you love the two great patriots and heroes of our nation.
I just want to say, Robert and Olivia, it's really such a pleasure to have you on the panel today, and to know that love came out of such a storm. So that's always a hope, and I love how that's emanating from both of you. So congratulations on your recent wedding, especially. As we move forward in all the work that you do, we know we discussed the movie where I'm wondering, Joe, we're going to be showing this at the warehouse anytime soon. That's what I also want to know. I know Teresa covered a lot of great topics. Very interested in seeing this. What is next on the schedule for the two of you? And is there any other type of outreach that our viewers can find you, can relate to you, maybe others that wish that they can help you? What else is on the schedule?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so one thing that I can say is if you go to legomanproductions.com, legomanproductions.com with 2 G's, either online or on our Instagram, Lego Man Productions. You'll see we're very hard at work. The January 6th movie is first of many that we're slated to accomplish. We actually have a fundraiser on the 4th of June in Fort Worth, Texas. Very exciting time. I actually just checked my emails, and yes, Capernaum Studios is going to be a premier sponsor of the event, and a lot of other folks are going to be showing up too, because this is America's production company, and this is about to be America's movie. We're sick and tired of the garbage from Hollywood, and so our January 6th love story movie is going to be the first of many that we're going to crank out to reinvigorate the West into hanging on and keeping this republic. Lego Man Productions is a film company that is going to restore heroes and reclaim our culture and edify the fact that Christ is king in everything that we do. So what's next is cranking out movies that you can show your grandkids or your children or your husband to inspire them to rise to the occasion, to keep this republic as we were in charge, and to bend a knee only to Christ. But in terms of what's next for Olivia and I remember at Mother's Day, we were at church, and I looked over her and I said, this is the last Mother's Day that you're not going to be a mom. So that's going to be pretty cool. And so there's that. We're very excited. We're just going to advance constantly until we can ride off into the sunset and know that what happened to us won't happen to your kids.
God bless. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, I missed something.
I'm trying to do the math
Jill,
here.
Did you pick something up?
Wait, because I'm like, does that mean she's pregnant or not yet?
That's not
Lego
yet.
Man.
Yeah.
Olivia, you're being called out on the carpet.
Little Legos.
That's a hopefully soon.
You let us know when you feel like you're ready to announce that. But in the studio here with my great co-host, what would you like to hear from them, Kevin Downey Jr.?
Olivia, you weren't in prison with a bunch of other J6 women, were you?
I was not. I had one other J6 woman come through for like 2 days, and then right at the very last, the last 2 or 3 weeks, Rachel Powell was there. And so for the most part, I was just in with general population, the D.C. area, and so I got my news from little snippets of when I'd call out to Freedom Corner or when I could get on a phone call with my my family. But yeah, it was a little bit different experience on my side than it was for the men.
And how did they treat you? Did they see you as an insurrectionist or a white supremacist or any of that stuff?
At first, it was a big fight. I had to kind of prove myself and let them know I wasn't the white supremacist and the racist radical that'd come in to take over their city and all the lies they'd been told. But over time, all the women ended up respecting me and saying, like, Pollock's in it for real, and she's one of all of us, because they saw that when we were fighting for us, as we were calling out on Freedom Corner and people were speaking on behalf of us, it was not changing it just for us. It was changing it for all of them, and everybody was benefiting from us. And so just like Robert said earlier, like, we went to January 6th because it was a nationwide problem. It wasn't just because our vote was stolen. If we don't have an election and we don't have a voice, then nobody has a voice. And so this wasn't about Trump. This wasn't about just we were mad at what they were doing on 2021, but it was about, if we don't have a voice, we have no say in the rest of what our country does. And so we've lost it at that point. And so we weren't just fighting for Republicans, we were fighting for everybody. And so they saw that by the time I got out, everybody kind of, even the guards that were very skeptical and very, you could tell they treated me different. I was denied lots of jobs and different things, even though they knew I worked hard and stuff. I had to fight for everything I got. But by the time I left, even the ones that, gave me a hard time, they're like, kind of gave me a little tap on the shoulder as I went out. It was like, Pollock, you're all right. I watched you through this whole time, and I can tell that you're real. And so it was kind of cool.
Wow, pretty incredible. I got to tell you, I don't think Robert was as lucky. I think when he went in with the original J6s, they were classified as terrorists and they were treated like terrorists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't until your final days, I believe, in jail that they gave you any kind of respect to guards. Did they not? Robert, when did they start turning?
Yeah, I would say that, we actually got retaliated quite a bit when we were exposing things. So we actually coaxed the marshals to come in and inspect the jail, and the jail ended up losing like a multi-million-dollar contract with the feds because they had to empty out 400 cells that DC locals had inhabited because of how wretched their conditions were too. So it wasn't, this isn't just a Republican or January 6th thing. This is the government acting absolutely tyrannical, especially to the African American community. And you ask anyone within the DC area, this has been going on generationally there. And so around the third year of our unconstitutional incarceration, I remember returning back to the DC gulag and, in order to get sentenced. And I remember, in the intake pod, you're there in a glass wall before you go back up to the Patriot pod, and a couple of local DC boys were walking by, and, just out of reflex because of what I've had to go through, I kind of like posture up like, ready to receive hatred. And as we lock eyes and they're walking by, I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. And one of the DC boys with big long dreads, he goes, "You a J6er?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" He puts his fist up against the glass and he says, "Thank you. We respect y'all." And I did not anticipate that at all, because you would have to be blind to see the difference we were making, because we put our heels in the dirt where they belong and said, enough's enough. Stop treating these people this way, whether they're white or black or whatever. This is for all of us.
But that didn't happen to you till you got into Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well, so in Philadelphia, you're talking, oh, man, you want to talk about the fruit basket story?
I told you he read the book.
Yeah, he read the book. Yeah, sorry, Johnny Famage, there's no pictures. But long story short, we ended up having a room clearing after there was a riot, and we had to stay in our cells for like a week or more, or whatever it was. And instead of our cells getting obliterated like everybody else's was, Kelly Meggs and I, the co-author of One Question Remains, another book on Amazon that I've written that essentially is a toolkit to discern exactly how January 6th was a lobster trap. Check it out. One Question Remains. We get withdrawn from the cell, and all of the employees of the Philly FDC, that jail there, were like, their room's fine. No one needs to investigate it. Nobody needs to go in there. These are patriots. And all of the slogans from the 2020 campaign trail were repeated by the guards. And the guards had favor over us. And when we returned from the rec area after, because that was just no protocol, we returned from the rec area. Our beds were like made. Our sheets were folded. Like, they took care of our room. And then we showed up, and inside of a bag that normally contains bread, because that's about the only thing you can actually eat in jail that hasn't been contaminated or poisoned, was a large amount of fruit. So like, we had apples in a bag. They literally gave us a fruit basket to say thanks. So in small little ways, even though they couldn't really do anything because they would have jeopardized their career, even the guards themselves knew what was happening to us was wrong and un-American. And all honestly, the culture and the character of America was under the microscope while Biden was in office. Some failed the test, but others passed.
What an incredible story, John.
I was very blessed to be there when Olivia got out, and they didn't let her go out the front door. They took the car, and everybody ran around the corner to see her get out of the car. One of the questions I have, though, is were they mad at you, the guards mad at you because you had your freedom for so long, and were they pissed off because you weren't incarcerated and had your freedom?
So the guards weren't mad at me necessarily. It was more the FBI and the marshals that were pretty pissed off when we decided to take them on the run and make them work for it. But like you said, when I was one of the last people to step out of the DC jail because of that failure to appear charge that I got, they tried to say that it wasn't related to January 6th, and I was held for another 4 days after the pardons. And so a lot of people were out fighting for me to get out, and I have such respect for some of the guys that stuck around and were like, until everybody's out, we're not leaving.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And so there was a big crowd that was out there by the time we left, and the marshals were, I guess pissed off enough that they decided that we couldn't just walk out the door like everybody else. They had to drive us all the way around the corner.
Yes.
And everybody had to run down there, but it was so cool when everybody came running My dad had been carrying this flag for years, and he had turned it upside down as a call for help for the American people because we were under attack. And he was waving the flag, and he yelled like freedom, like they did in Braveheart at the end. It was like freedom. And that was the best day to finally hear that when it actually was true, and we'd actually stepped out and breathed fresh air, and he was able to turn that flag back around because, you know, people like you who had come to our aid and had spoke out for us, and it was a good day.
That was an amazing day. Amazing day.
We got about 2.5 minutes left, and our new host here, Jill Nicolini, is going to be. We're hoping that we can keep her for a nighttime show. We were trying to come up with some names for it, and we're going to work on that. But welcome to the America First Warehouse, Jill. And with the last 2 minutes left, you can address our friends over there, or can you please tell us what's going on in your life and where people can find you and build your social media.
What is your last name?
Nicolini.
Nicolini.
Nicolini, yeah.
Like the pavers.
But I think my email, everything, social media handle is less complicated than John Goodman. So I'm going to help him work on that later. It's just Jill Nicolini. That's my name. But I hope we can bring them on our show. Yes. I mean, what an amazing story. What an amazing journey. And you also mentioned, hold on, Robert, you have other books I was not aware of. What other books have you written as well?
Yeah, so there's actually a book that we wrote while we were incarcerated, Kelly and I, and we snuck it out of prison. That's the only book on your bookshelf, if you were to order it today off of Amazon, that can boast that it was snuck out of an American jail. It's called One Question Remains, and when you read that, you will know for a fact that January 6th was none other than a lobster trap, because it's written by people who were actually there instead of strangers on the TV telling you what it was.
Wow.
That's an incredible story. Now, Kelly Meggs, was he a Ranger like you two?
No, but he's an oath keeper.
He's an oath keeper, but he didn't serve the country, Kelly Meggs? As a Marine?
No, he's a car salesman in Florida, but a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my birthday.
What's your birthday?
January 10th.
January 10th, okay. January 6th was 4 days before. Mm-hmm. I have a picture of Melania Trump behind you because Jill Nicolini is a very classy lady. She's coming to the warehouse. Look for her on some of our late-night television shows. We're going to put something together that's exciting for people. Not always political, but certainly America first.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to be here. The energy in this room, in this warehouse, all of you on this stage, our guests today. I mean, thank you so much for having me and allowing me here on this platform. I think it's amazing.
God bless you, Jill Nicolini. Welcome to the America First team. God bless Robert Moores and Olivia Moores, too. We'll see you soon.
Good show.
Woo!
Thank you. Oh, don't leave. I need a picture of us up here.
For all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity.